Welcome to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share on any platform that you're listening on. All right, welcome to Driveway Beers podcast After Dark. This is
look, daylight savings time. Everything's after dark.
We had talked about some bourbon during the beer show, so we figured, okay, we'll end the beer show and we'll just kind of continue. And we've got two bourbons here. We're gonna try them out. There's one here that no one else besides me's had, and I don't know how many people had the Knob Creek, but we figured, heck, why not extend the show a little bit, talk about whatever comes up. Although I think there was a lot of stuff that came up in the meantime. There's probably like a 20-minute intermission. But the one bourbon that's here, it's from Wild Turkey called American Honey.
Not a bourbon. It is a whiskey.
A whiskey.
A whiskey.
Sorry. So it is.
All bourbons are whiskeys,
bourbons
but not all whiskeys are bourbons.
But not all whiskeys are bourbon.
Bourbon has to be from Kentucky.
Yeah. No. Actually,
it has to be made of.
It has to be made by congressional law.
Yes.
But once you add in a flavor, there's no flavored bourbon.
Okay.
Like, you're not gonna find a honey bourbon. You'll find a honey whiskey.
So this is a honey whiskey then. I am mistaken.
I actually only recognize congressional law, by the way. Now, I will say
isn't there something like Scotch? It's the same way.
Well,
Yeah.
the bottle
Like
says
Scotch has certain.
bourbon whiskey. It's bourbon.
That says bourbon whiskey on
It
it?
says bourbon whiskey
See?
right on the bottle.
Lies.
It's not. It's that. That's
not
not
a true bourbon.
Oh,
That can't be. It can't
be
bourbon.
true.
It's not a true
this
bourbon.
can't be true.
That's why they say whiskey on it, so they can get away with it.
Okay, so Wild Turkey's not trying
Wild
to
Turkey
slander the
bourbon
bourbon
is,
name.
but the honey version.
I don't know. Like, it says bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
Remember,
Look,
This
I-
one says
I-
bourbon
whiskey,
whiskey.
but not all whiskeys.
Both
are
of
bourbon.
these bottles in both my hands say bourbon whiskey.
I thought it was-
Now, I don't know what type of law was in effect when they were being made.
so is the Knob Creek not bourbon?
I heard you like to Google things in the middle of episodes, so maybe
Get to it.
you should check.
That's
it
what
out.
Google's for, sir.
So wait, is Knob Creek not bourbon?
No, Knob Creek's bourbon.
No, like
Because that's a straight bourbon.
Yeah, Knob Creek's bourbon.
the Knob Creek is a bourbon. You don't have flavored bourbons typically.
Yeah, it's whiskey.
It becomes a whiskey.
Oh, so what does the bottle say?
Hold on. I just Googled it. I have the lacrosse statistics here for the 19...
You're not bringing that up. So this says bourbon whiskey. All right, so this is a whiskey.
Look. Do we need to bring the saying back out? All bourbons are whiskeys,
Yeah.
but not all whiskeys are bourbons.
By the way, Josh, the only person who has been censored on this show.
Yeah.
Censored. That's
Yeah.
We had to cut out segments.
Oh wow.
Listen, I just... They're not ready for...
Nobody's ready for that. No, nobody's ready for that.
75 years ago, they were completely down.
75 years ago, completely okay.
There, you see?
It's back when congressional law ruled this land.
So, all right,
I will recognize the authority of the sheriff.
Authority. Recognize my authority.
so we're testing the whiskey then.
Yes,
So
you're
for
testing a honey
Wild
whiskey.
Turkey American Honey.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a bourbon drinker.
I'm
so
not.
My
Nope.
face is gonna be like Josh's face, tasting
Oh.
delicious beer.
So here's the thing: if you plug your nose and drink this, you're not gonna know you're drinking it. You're not gonna know.
I
it's
just
a
drank
whiskey.
some, and it's sweet and it's
he
good.
says that.
All right, here.
And
I'm not. Me and liquor don't get along anymore.
Ever since White Russian Night.
No, that was
That's-
delicious.
You're really making that
I
face
did.
to
I
this?
did call some dinosaurs though.
No, you don't drink bourbon though, right?
It's
No, and I don't drink bourbon whiskey either.
So Josh's face is just like if I gave him sour chicky.
it's a little warm.
No, I
But
may
it's
have
not
been
bad.
I,
It's not bad.
This is good. I think this, like, a little ginger ale, too.
It's
Yeah.
that's a good mix.
Like if you
like-
mix this with something,
honey ginger. Ooh.
I'd be
Or like
passed out
hot
now.
toddy-ish. You know what I mean? Like a
Hot
little-
toddy, there
I
it
like
is.
it.
Yeah, a little
Little apple cider,
was like-
little
Fire pit.
apple cider, a little
Yeah.
honey apple cider.
When I was like
Fire
6
pit?
years
Okay,
old and I
okay.
was sick, my grandmother would make me a legit hot toddy. And I would just pass out. It was the greatest thing ever.
It was really more for your grandmother.
It was 100% for her.
So, like from someone who's
I think
never,
you're sick. I feel fine. Nope.
So I
Pass out, kid.
I don't drink whiskey. I don't drink bourbon. Whatever this is, whiskey, bourbon, whiskey. I'm going to call it whiskey at this point.
Yeah, the honey one's whiskey.
This if you are a new person to whiskey,
Yeah, this is
the
a nice
one to go
little-
with.
Little ease in.
Good way to pop the cherry.
It's
Yeah, oh,
sweet.
yeah.
I don't love bourbons and whiskeys and liquor in general anymore, but this is. I can drink this.
like if you took 5 sips of it and got your shot, you'd be all right.
It's
like
I'll drink this. I'll be all right.
Yeah,
but when you bring up the Knob Creek, I don't know if I'll be as all right.
I'm not as all right with the Knob Creek, but if you're having a bourbon with someone, as a
I'll drink a
beginner,
bourbon.
the
Like, I'll
Knob
try
Creek
it.
is
I'll
where I
try
gotta go.
anything, but
I'll
I
go.
don't love stuff. Like like if somebody's like, "Oh, try this delicious bourbon," I'm like, "Please don't waste stuff on me.
Right.
Give me the crappy stuff."
Yeah, don't give me the good stuff. Give me
do
the
it.
worst stuff.
It's
you
like whenever I go to a dinner with somebody and they're like, "Oh, the great red wine," I'm like, "Don't waste that on me.
I'm the same way.
Just I'll take the Sam Adams. You guys drink your delicious red wine. I'll drink the Sam Adams and pair it with my steak. I'll be fine."
Yeah, it's not horrible, but I mean it still smacks you.
Oh yeah, it'll punch you in the
It,
face.
it still hits you.
Drinking
that.
wise, though,
Punch
I
it.
think some of the beers we just had, I was more of a than this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. This is a sipper. Like I'm not gonna like pound this, but I'll sip on this for a little bit.
Well,
Like, if this came between this or the Mad Elf,
I drink this.
yeah.
so it's 35.5% alcohol by volume, so it's not very strong.
It's not super strong for a whiskey.
Yeah, we're gonna bump those numbers up for the option number 2. I just looked.
Yeah,
The Knob Creek's gonna pump that up fast.
yeah. It
Yeah, it's
that no, it's
50.
about. I think it's 75.
It's 50. It's
100 proof.
It's 100
50?
proof,
Oh, wait,
50%
my bad.
alcohol by volume.
So this is only 71 proof. This is like that's what I'm saying for a beginner. This is
Yeah, for
if
a
you
beginner,
can't
like,
you can't deal with this
or that, or like a
this is
Tennessee
not going to
honey
be for
from
you.
Jack
You have to
Daniels.
conquer that before you go to the next one.
Correct. And here's the thing though, I might stop here, and because like I'm brand new to whiskey,
at it.
right? If I
Whatever
enjoy
you do, you whatever.
if I enjoy drinking this might be what I drink, and that's it. I'm
Like
not-
Krishan's like, no,
Krishan's like,
Do they-
I'll
do
get
they-
you some good stuff.
Do they have other flavors?
So, Krishan, you're a bourbon guy.
Yeah, you're a bourbon guy.
So, what is your opinion of that?
I wouldn't drink that. I'm just a traditionalist, I think, in that form. So, like, I don't like sweet in whiskey.
Well, it's almost like if you're a wine person.
Yeah.
And someone says, "Oh, you're a wine person. I love wine. Oh, what do you drink? White Zen."
Like,
Yeah,
they-
Like,
or
no, you're not a wine person.
Moscato or
Yeah.
something sweet. Like it's really good. I think it's a good base. It's a good I say gateway
yeah.
into like the Knob Creek. Knob Creek is like the contrast could not be more different here. But
Yeah.
But I think one thing though is how people drink bourbon is like if it's on the rocks, you get something different than if it's neat.
Yeah.
Or if you just add a few drops of water and give the bourbon opportunity to open up, like all of these things need to open up and breathe.
Because I don't drink mine neat.
Okay.
I drink it on the rocks and I let that ice sweat and melt into it. Now, after I've had the first one, so if it's a brand new bourbon that I've never had, something I've never had before, the first sip, I'll have it completely neat just to kind of see what it's like, and then I'll do it on the rocks like I do for everything else. The second pour, I'm going to add ice, whatever liquid's in there, I'm pouring it right on top, and I'm going that way. So, and I'm not waiting.
Yeah, I like to try everything each way.
Yeah.
Like try it neat, try it on the rocks, try it with just a few drops of water, to see what happens to it. Because there are some like makers. I like makers, but I only like makers with an old fashioned.
Yeah, I only like makers and ginger.
Oh, old
Yeah.
fashioned's good.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I'll give you old fashioned's good.
mix?
No.
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 I thought you were just dumping it in there.
But like Bullet, Bullet Bourbon, Bullet Rye is hands down one of my favorites.
Yeah. I'm a Bullet Rye and Sagamore Spirits Rye.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now I find Sagamore Spirits Rye, which is a local Maryland,
Yeah.
Baltimore brand, like really spicy for a rye.
So my first introduction to rye was a Sagamore Spirit, and I was at a charity event. They had a liquor wheel.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit.
I put my number came up, and I was looking for a Scotch. I didn't have it.
No.
Everyone's grabbing the stuff like the Captain Morgan and Absolute Vodka, and this weird looking bottle was sitting back there. I said, "What's that?" They said, "Oh, it's a rye." I said, "No, I'll take that." And it like had the batch number on it and everything handwritten. I said, "Oh, okay." And I really enjoyed it. And from then on, Bullet Rye. But like I think Bullet's kind of my go-to. Like,
Yeah,
that's
Bullet's
what I have.
standard.
Yeah.
See, I like when my dad's here because I can just buy him Jim Beam Black, and then that's all I gotta do for him for like a couple days.
Yeah.
And then when he's out, like I go buy him another Jim Beam Black.
But like if
He loves that stuff.
like Gentleman's Jack,
Yeah,
it's probably my favorite of the Jack Daniels.
Yeah, my father-in-law likes Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah.
He likes a good Jack and Ginger.
Yeah, good Jack and Ginger. But I love a good bourbon and ginger. I like a good
I mean,
old
you're
fashioned.
gonna have to ease me in because I'm not a big bourbon goer. Is this me?
Have you guys seen those videos where people are pouring liquor through these like Brita
Yes.
pitchers?
And they're pouring like trash liquor through
Trash-
it. They're like,
trash
"Ugh."
vodka.
Well, it's not even trash. Doesn't even matter. Trash liquor, regular, doesn't matter. They're pouring it through, and then what comes out the other end is like tasteless alcohol. Like
That
you know
makes-
how
does that make
I'm
sense?
taking. I don't know, but I'm telling you,
Stolichnaya vodka and making it into some
the
Absolute.
people, a person that I saw post one of these videos, like they pride themselves on posting legit stuff, right? They're not just like, oh, let's make a viral video and try to get some clicks. Like they did it, and they was like, oh my, this is like deadly because after it went through the Brita filter, he was like, I don't even know what I'm drinking.
Is the alcohol still in it though?
Yeah, it just removes the
You have the cork for that?
impurities. Wow, I've had a few beers.
Well, I think like with bourbon, obviously, the burning of the barrels
Well, yeah,
and
yeah,
the time in the barrel is what's
Yeah.
gonna give it more color and
Well, I mean,
more
it's like
flavor.
anything like that
Because you can even like if we look at the Knob Creek, and you look at the American honey, there's
it's a distinct color.
just the difference in color.
Yeah.
Is
Well, it's like the Pappies. Like they sit for like 20 years.
yeah, and some of them, yeah. So that's almost like the
It's
the
gonna like-
viscosity
that's
of it
crazy.
is like a honey almost. in some of
It's
them.
like Lisa and I, we make that wine in the basement, and like we put the oak and stuff in. It's delicious. My family's made it since Prohibition. Okay,
hangover wine.
it's so the fruit wine is a hangover wine. The red wine is not as much hangover wine. The fruit wine is.
Josh just took his
I don't
first
know where
sip.
Josh spits up his bourbon.
Oh.
All right, you know what? I'm just gonna vote for the honey. And
Oh, we're not ready. We're just trying them out.
oh, we're not ready.
No,
No,
just
okay,
try
well, I'm
'em out.
still voting for the honey. Man, that is.
You don't gotta drink it.
No, I'm not going. Well, I appreciate you, Papa, for not making me forced to be to drink
No,
it.
no, I
but-
can do that.
No, that's yeah. But I'll defer to Krishan as to what's the
that's
real
not for-
bourbon.
Josh, that's not for me either.
Yeah, but that's real bourbon as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
That was like
That's
this is like a flavorful drink that
So
they.
the honey,
I'll take an old fashioned.
Where it tastes good?
That's the bourbon.
I'll do it once more.
the honey where it tastes really good, I can almost feel the hangover from it already.
Oh yeah, the sugar. Yeah, all right, I'll get you.
Whereas the bourbon, the Knob Creek,
do the bourbon.
I haven't even drank it yet, but
can't
I'm
do
not
it.
feeling the hangover from it.
So for again, and
Like if you guys want to do like bourbon, I'll come over and hang out, but I'm not drinking any bourbon.
so I mean, as the beginner person, like I'm obviously these. I bought these two because they were beginner bourbons.
I think 100 proof is aggressive for beginner bourbon. Like
What do you think?
My sweet spot is like 90. I think Old Forester may make an
She said I did it wrong.
in 87.
I mean, he is. but
I'm
he's
not,
saying
but I
it.
am.
That's our look.
But
I don't know,
100
He's
proof
implying.
is 100 proof has a lot of heat behind it.
That's heavy.
and that's what I'm tasting. Like when I
I'm with you on that one.
it's
Josh.
almost
I
like you
can't.
got a lot of cinnamon. Like if you ever have if you ate like a cinnamon stick,
Yeah.
that's what this feels like. It just it burns your tongue a little bit. The thing I like about it though, it doesn't burn going down.
Yeah, no, it's really smooth.
There is
I
no burn.
enjoy it.
I can't do liquor anymore. I just can't.
I get horrible heartburn. I'm with you there, but for me it's like I can do like, you know what do they call it? 2 fingers of this, and I'll be straight for the night.
Oh no, with a good cigar,
Yeah,
dude. Like, and I'm really wishing we were outside right now to light up some sticks. But no, this
Look,
I prefer the Knob Creek. Given the choice, I'm going Knob Creek over the honey because I want that more mature flavor like that. With a good cigar outside the fire pit, like all those strong aromas, like this is just right there.
It's almost like matching flavors.
Thomas, telling you want to do a bourbon one. Thomas will come. My brother-in-law will come, or he'll bring his own bourbon. You can taste some good shit.
And the rest of us will die.
Yeah.
So
I'll be fine.
Man.
So here's if this is
I am not a small man either.
Yeah,
I'll be
Thomas
honest.
is not a
If this
small
is
man, but he
100
loves bourbon.
Right. So if this Knob Creek is 100 proof, and you're saying I probably should bump down like an 85, 90, I might. That's probably my next evolution in this, is to bump down, because the Knob Creek is a little bit spicy for me. I wouldn't enjoy sipping this and drinking it. I can, because the burn's not there, which is what I was trying to avoid. But for me, I would want to. So the American Honey is 75. I wouldn't want to try and bump up to 85, because that would put me 85, 90 puts me right in between these two.
Where's Bullet sit?
I think Bullet sits around 90. Actually, I
Okay.
think it may be 90. But like I'd recommend, and then price point, right? Because you get into this bourbon aisle.
So these are like $30 a pop.
Yeah,
Roughly.
and some of it, and even $30 for something you don't like could be a lot of money. But like Four Roses is very understated, but probably one of the better bourbons out there. There's one called Old Granddad. It comes, you can get a handle and a plastic bottle, but it is very, very good bourbon. Some of the lower end, like 87 proof, 85 proof of Old Forester is really good.
With lower proof, does that mean like it's lesser quality?
No, it's just like lower alcohol per volume.
So you can have like a good bourbon and still be in that 80, 85, 90 range.
Yeah.
Or 80, I would probably stick to like 80, 85. That's probably where I'm going to
No, and that's I like 90. Like over all the bourbons I've tried, it's every time I hit 100 proof or anything over 100, it just seems aggressive to me. Get to 90, like I say 85, 87, it's good sipping.
Like I took probably 4 sips at Knob Creek, and like I couldn't I don't want to do another one.
And then
It's
you
too
can do
much.
it like I think lower proof.
Yeah.
You know, you can handle it without rocks. Maybe.
So I don't know if I like the American Honey one. I would still do it on the rocks.
Yeah, but the good thing with a Knob Creek though, I would be interested to see how you would enjoy it if you kind of cocktail it. If you make an old fashioned out of it, like
Old fashions.
yeah,
What's
or
old fashioned is what bourbon and what?
there's some bitters in there,
Some bitters, a little bit of just a little bit of sugar in there,
a little bit
like
of sugar,
citrus.
yeah, or Manhattan, or a whiskey sour. So that's the good thing about like the higher proof bourbons. You can manipulate them in the cocktail range.
The one thing I like about the bourbon is that like I could take the bottle, take it in the garage by itself with some ice, and that's it. Like I'm not taking out like 6, 7 different things. I'm not mixing a drink. I can literally just pour it from the bottle into a cup with some ice, and I'm rocking. I'm going. It's like a beer. You take it outside, you pop the top, you're drinking, right? So I was looking for something uncomplicated, and just like for beer, for me, it's like I don't enjoy a lot of different beers. Like, will I have one? Sure, but I feel like I'm getting more bang for my buck with the bourbon. Yeah, 2 fingers of bourbon for me is gonna give me more bang for my buck as far as like not inebriation, but feeling nice. You know, getting warm on the inside than one of these beers that I'm not really gonna enjoy drinking that much. You know.
See, I enjoy the beers. I don't enjoy liquor anymore. Beer. I'm a beer guy.
See, I'm going back, and you know, the bourbon. The nice thing with, so especially like, you know, Alex and I have done a bunch. You know, not too much, but we've talked significantly about weight loss and dieting. And the thing is, like, beer, I'll drink 15 beers. Yeah. Like, and it's nothing.
Yeah, you got a point there.
That's 100 calories a pop.
Yeah, or if it's Guinness Blonde, I'm looking at 100. It's 1,560 calories, just in liquor, like liquid consumption.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not gonna drink that much bourbon. I can't. Yeah. Like, I would die. Mm-hmm. And usually I'll drink. So when we did the Halloween thing, I was popping popcorn while the movie was playing for the kids. I had 2 glasses of bourbon, no beer. I was good. I sipped it the entire night, And the 2 glasses, maybe I consumed 300 calories between the two. So, I wasn't just pounding beer. I had it, and the thing is, I felt relaxed, caught a nice little, found the effects of it, but it wasn't. And beer, I don't catch that. Beer, I just get tired and feel full.
But that's 1/5 the calories, though, too.
Yeah.
1/5.
Yeah. And now that I've gotten kind of back into cigars, it's like a nice cigar that takes about 45 minutes to smoke, 2 glasses of bourbon, I'm done. I don't need anything else. I'm going right to sleep.
Yeah, I think bourbon adds to like a social aspect of drinking that you can have a couple beers alone, but for me, like having some bourbon. Yeah. And I have bottles of bourbon I won't open because I'm like, oh, this isn't a by myself bourbon. Yeah, this is like, oh, I have some people over. I'm gonna open this, and if
I don't love bourbon, but I'll come hang and I'll bring my own beer.
And you can do a bourbon barrel beer.
There you go, bourbon barrel beer. Those are delicious, actually.
And the thing is, like,
I don't like bourbon, but I do love bourbon barrel beers.
Yeah. But I really like Basil Hayden. That's a good buddy. Friend of ours bought that for me for my 40th birthday. I still have some of it left. And I haven't gotten into the Pappy Van Winkle and all that. And I even think if I had the money, I probably wouldn't go buy it. Yeah. I'm not that into it. And, it's just like if I had all the money in the world, I'm not buying a $400,000 car. My Sienna's fine. I'll buy an old truck to go with it. We're good. So, but it's just a different experience than just. But then again, am I bringing a bottle of bourbon to the pool? No, that's where beer comes in.
Yeah.
So,
but here's the thing: you could probably take bourbon in a tumbler, and you could probably bring a glass, like a tumbler of bourbon, not like a huge thing, but like a tumbler of bourbon, and you wouldn't need to bring like a 6-pack or a 12-pack of beer. It travels much easier.
So the thing is, I think you probably mix. But then you're bringing equipment to make more drinks, Like, Josh, we did the Orange Crushes at the pool. Like, there's, like, legit equipment that had to be brought to manufacture those things.
But that was more of, like, an event. Like, that wasn't... We're not going to do this every day.
Yeah.
So, but in order to do that, that's not an event thing. You know what I mean? Like,
It's sometimes easier to just rip open a 12-pack, dump it in the cooler, dump ice in with it, and you're good.
Yeah.
For the pool, for fishing, whatever. Yeah. So, definitely situation.
Like your bush lattes or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think a good appreciation of bourbon is to visit a distillery, see how it's made. We went to the Sagamore Rye, Sagamore Distillery, I think last summer. Saw how theirs was made. I've been to a few. And you get an appreciation for how the aging process works, and actually how the flavor profile changes over time with it.
That was great info. Nobody heard it.
People hear it. People hear.
You should honestly. I'm
looking. Our podcast. I see it now.
It barely registers.
It barely registers. I feel like I'm louder than I am.
You just gotta be okay with shouting into a microphone.
Yeah.
Well, screw them.
Screw your ears.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whenever it gets mixed, for whatever reason, like I even jack up the volume from here, so like it records at this level. I pop it up another 5 gain. Like I do another 5 on the gain scale, just to make it audible, so people don't have to crank it in their cars.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, but I was listening to the Black Rifle podcast. And those dudes have money, like they're like pros, and they had Tulsi Gabbard on, who also has her own podcast. And I had
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh, I listen. She's got some shit going on.
I had to turn the volume up in my car to max just to hear it. And I'm like, who's doing this audio?
She was probably at home and they zoomed her in or something.
But you can tell when
someone zoom in.
Yeah.
Jeremy Kahn zoomed in. And I think the thing is, I'm like, why is she so low? She should know how to talk into a mic. She has a podcast.
We can zoom. Next time we do beer one, we'll have to zoom in my buddy Ryan from Michigan. That man's got a beer palate too. Anyway, side note.
I feel like it's better if you're here. I like Josh's facial expressions.
He's like 900 miles away.
We should find a way to put him on one of the TVs.
Ooh, look at this guy.
You need a YouTube channel now.
Hold on. Now, see,
We have a YouTube channel.
So I suggested we're setting up some cameras and recording this while it was going on, and Alex said respectfully that he has a face for radio.
He has a face for radio.
I do.
But I'm just saying, there's some. I see benefit there. I see benefit.
Hey man, you got all your hair, so it's fine.
We have to dress a little better for
Do
a video
you?
podcast.
Do you? Because last time I checked, when I have beers in my driveway, I don't get dressed up for it.
I could pull a Tim Pool and just beanie it. Just wear my beanie.
Listen,
Not that I wear a beanie. I'd probably sweat that whole show.
I mean, I shave my head and
I
have
come
a
out in
beard, so there's
sweatpants.
like-
That's driveway beers.
So, elections, huh?
Anyway, let's go back to the talk about aliens, because that was a
So here's
damn
one thing I am
fascinating
excited about.
conversation.
I am excited about that this Thanksgiving, I believe I'm going to be able to sit on my couch and legally, just throw a couple bucks on some games to make them a little bit more
by then, it
exciting.
should be.
Wednesday, apparently.
Like, should
The
be.
day before Thanksgiving. Those apps are supposed to go live Wednesday.
Yeah, that's I'm hearing sometime next
I
week.
keep hearing advertisements about it, so it
And
should be soon.
Dude, those advertisements for like 2 friggin' months. Those ads are going to be more prevalent than the boner drugs.
Yeah, but listen, I'm not a big gambler. I don't want to fall down that rabbit hole. But a lot of these sites
you're
right
not
now.
addiction.
The prop bets are funny.
Trust me,
Who's going to
I
win the
already
coin
got that.
toss?
I've got
Who's
nicotine,
gonna have the
alcohol,
first
and
penalty?
gambling.
Yeah, so
I'm betting that trifecta. I got you.
So a lot of these things are offering mailers, hey, sign up with us, and we'll give you this much in free bets and this much free bets, which is all good. But but listen, I'll take $50 while we throw it into an app and just spread it around a couple games. It just makes it's kind of like fantasy football a little bit, right?
Yeah,
it makes the games more interesting.
Or Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, good job. Yeah, how'd that work out?
You want
FTX.
to know how much I bet on NFL last weekend? How much I put at risk?
Tell us.
Hey,
Hold on.
you want to guess?
I'm either this is going to be crazy high, I'm going to feel an idiot, or I'm going to say $450.
You're close. It was 300 and I believe 320.
That wasn't that. I mean, all right.
You're close. That's what I'm saying. You're
Okay.
close.
Fair enough.
So I'm not going to lie. I ain't betting 325 on NFL.
No. So here's the thing, though. I bet the entire slate against the spread, and I went 7-6. So even though I put at risk 320. I think I ended up winning $9 because when you go, if you can win 2 more than you lose, then you kind of will stack a little bit.
We should put all that money on the Redskins. I mean, Commanders.
Yeah,
I mean Redskins. I mean Commanders.
you want to know what? I did bet against them. I bet against them, and it bit
I
me
mean
in the
that
butt.
was a solid bet. I'm not gonna lie. That was a solid bet.
Yeah.
The Commanders are awful.
But it's funny because I saw that all that snow that was going to go on up in Buffalo before I knew they were going to change location, and I was like,
Bull.
and I'm not
Play in the snow, wusses.
I'm not an avid gambler. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but I do know. I was like, whatever the over under is, man, I'd really like to bet that under, right? I mean, you're talking multiple feet of snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, unless they have that over under set at 10.5, it's
Yeah, that last week was the first week that I bet an entire slate against the spread. Now I did it with play money for 4 weeks just to see how I would do, and I did okay 3 of the 4 weeks. The other week I didn't do very well. So I was like, all right, well, let me put the money at risk because normally I'll just bet like 4 or 5 games, and I'll do like parlays and fun stuff like that, and that's usually what I was doing. But this last week was a little bit different. I'll do it again this week just to see what it's like. But for me, I may or may not have gone with a man of the, I don't even know what you call it. Not a man of the cloth, a man of the books.
It's close.
I would go that route. And even with Maryland legalizing sports betting, I don't know if I'll switch. Because when you go the legal route, you've got to put your money up front. You've got to basically have the money in the account to bet it. Whereas with a bookie, it's all on credit. Now that doesn't really matter. As long as I'm going to stiff the bookie or the bookie, and
well, it matters if you're going to plan on stiffing the bookie, right?
it's not that kind of bookie. Not all bookies
You
are
end
from
up
Kansas
sleeping
City.
with the fishes or something.
Okay, not all,
Come get you with
not
a
all
bat.
bookies are out of Kansas City
Little loan shark.
and have the droopy mouth. It's not all those guys.
They send Tony bag of donuts.
I was like,
to settle your bets.
is his name Tony? Does he know a guy?
Hey.
He's in Queens or Long Island. Or something like that.
Still keeping paper books.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if I'll switch
You
it.
square up your bets, you see?
Time to square up.
Time warp to the 20s. Hold on.
What was that movie? Was it 2 for the Money with Matthew McConaughey? It was like he was playing that the guy who you pay for picks, Anthony Joshua or something like that, and like he ended up going on like a losing streak, and the people kept calling, I lost that much money. It's like, oh my god, I wouldn't want to be one of those guys. Like you're selling your picks to people. It's like, what happens when you suck? Like, I don't know. Good conversation ender right there, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I grew up, in New York, and I'm like early memory is my grandma would play numbers.
Oh, number runners?
Illegal numbers, and I went with her once, and the cops raided the number spot. And
It's like, I'm just here buying some deli sandwiches.
I'm like 5 years old with my grandma, and they have her sitting in a police car, and she's like, I don't know what's going on in this place, But yeah, so running numbers, that's like one of my earliest memories.
My grandfather owned a bar in Pittsburgh, and they'd run numbers out of the back of it.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, look, my great grandfather worked for Capone and made alcohol, and so hey,
we all got.
my mother used to run the numbers for.
I mean, he was just a simple farmer. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Chicago just delivered sugar every couple
That's
months.
it.
It's
That's
fine.
all.
He just needed sugar.
I told the story to Mike, but basically, like, a lot of my mother's uncles own like businesses, and they would basically send the girls, like when my mom was a little girl, send her and her sister and her friends. They'd give them like the bag full of numbers, and they would go to each store and pick up the numbers from each place, and they had no idea. The like her uncles would give her like a lollipop here, or like steaks for their parents or whatever it was, and they go home and they return the bag of numbers and whatnot, and they give their parents all the stuff and whatnot. It was just she didn't have a clue until she was older.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What I really hope this leads towards is the ability again to play online poker in Maryland for money, because we could back in the day, mid 2000s ish, no problem, and then they were like, they shut it down, and now they're finally
time for that.
Well, I think it's going to take a few years of this, but listen, if I can throw money onto a game that's going on, like, what's the difference if I want to throw money into a pot and play some cards, right?
it actually requires your skill to.
Right, like,
I was up in Michigan at my dad's, and they were advertising like, you could play slots on your phone, like legitimately through like MGM. Like that seems like a terrible idea.
well,
so the slots are a little bit different though, because slots have to pay out 80% of what they take in. So if you over time, you should only lose 20% of what you're putting in, at the worst. But of course, it's over time, so you might land a blue guy. Right. My problem with the online poker wasn't the poker rooms themselves; it was that people could easily cheat the system if they had the right.
but we're also talking back in early 2000s,
right? But you didn't know who was on the other end of that screen, and if they were using that cheat software.
Well, yeah,
where they could see all the hole cards.
Yeah.
Well, and this kind of tying into current events. So one of the higher ups in this FTX fiasco that's been going on lately with this crypto. So
Sam what? I'm sorry. Are you saying you don't trust currency that doesn't actually?
So not the main guy, but one of the higher ups.
Don't trust none of that.
Except Dogecoin.
So
I don't trust none of that.
So one of the higher ups in FTX apparently used to work for the company Ultimate Bet. And Ultimate Bet was riddled with a scandal many moons ago where they had online poker, and what they did was they had employees infiltrate the tables, play against their customers, but the employees obviously could see the hole cards. It was exposed. I don't know. I don't know. I don't pretend to know what happened with Ultimate Bet. You can Google that or whatever. But yada yada yada. The guy that was like in charge of Ultimate Bet back then was high up in the food chain of this FTX company now. So it's I didn't know much about FTX before all this. The only thing here's what I knew about FTX: they had the logos on the umpires' uniforms for Major League Baseball. That's how I knew what FTX. Like I was like, oh, FTX. That's interesting. Must be
Now before you just said that, I had no idea why they had FTX. I'm like, oh, that's what that is.
It's a sponsor.
Yeah,
They were sponsoring the umpires'
Not
uniforms.
anymore.
Well,
But yeah, not anymore, right? Yeah. So, but it'd be more interesting if this happened mid MLB season, because it would be like
To see if they came off.
to see if they came off like right away.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, I think at the beginning of next year, April,
Right.
they're not going to be there. But but yeah, that's why they were there.
you want to hear conspiracies now
Let's do it.
about that? So, what's that guy? Sam Bankman-Fried? Brakeman?
Yeah.
Bankman.
Yeah, the dude.
Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, so his mother is apparently his mother and father are professors at Stanford. He went to MIT, but his parents were professors at Stanford. The mother started a Democratic PAC,
Oh yeah, I heard this conspiracy theory.
and essentially what the idea was that he was liquidating the funds in FTX, that
Giving
people,
it to them. Yeah.
and he was giving the money to. He donated $20 million.
I thought it was 38.
I heard 20, but 38 wouldn't.
Either
I
way,
saw 38
a lot
on a
of
graphic of this.
Either way, though, he was the second biggest donor to the Democrats in this election cycle. Another rumor I heard, and again, we are not reporters. This is all made up.
I wouldn't say it's made up.
Well,
We don't know.
Listen, as far as
Allegedly.
all the
As far as
news is
the people's-
speculation now.
We
Anyway,
have
we
not
might as well
vetted
work
these
for
sources.
yeah,
AP.
Yes.
nothing has been vetted.
We might as well work for AP. That's all they do anyway.
Allegedly,
Oh yeah, but that allegedly. word in there.
allegedly, there was some money that went from FTX to Ukraine, and may have gone through a company associated with a certain political figure.
Who?
So
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
there was a
No, it went
No,
from
say
the
his
U.S.
name.
government to
I will not say
Ukraine.
his
Say his
I
name.
ain't looking to die.
Who?
I don't know. I honestly, I kind of want you to say his name because I don't know who you're talking about. But don't be afraid to say his name.
He has Alzheimer's.
Oh, Joe Biden. Okay, gotcha.
But it went from FTX. It went from the U.S.
Didn't you see Boys
government.
in the Hood? Now we're all going to die.
It went from the U.S. government to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Was invested in FTX, liquidated, and donated to the. So that was the
that's
cycle.
the circle. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the circle I was looking for.
So they were giving their.
So either way, it's some shady bullshit.
But here's the thing.
If they can prove that,
They're
that's-
never gonna prove that's gonna disappear.
if they could, that
It's
basically
never
says
gonna happen.
the federal government was funding one particular party.
Well, I can prove it. We can prove it right now.
Okay,
So this is not involving FTX though.
Breaking news.
So they go and start some bullshit proxy war like we always go and start. Okay? So who is putting the pressure on the politicians to get involved in or start these wars?
military industrial
People-
complex.
Right. Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Fairchild, whoever
People
these
who
companies
build
are.
armaments.
Right.
Boeing, sure.
So then that money goes and is given to, say in this instance, Ukraine, who then immediately turns around and spends it on arms from Boeing, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, who are donating money to all, through the lobbyists, through whoever, to all of the members of the Uniparty.
True.
So it's happening all the time. So this is nothing new. This is just a different route through which it went.
Just might not be on this kind of scale though.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. All this
It's
can be
spread out
solved
more.
through term limits, in-person voting only. Done.
Politicians being forced to
Politicians
divest from.
You cannot be a lobbyist ever if you're a politician, and you cannot invest in stocks. Period.
By the way, John Boehner.
All that would be solved.
Do you remember that guy?
Four
Everyone-
things would solve all our problems.
Cigarettes and crying, yeah, and spray tans.
Okay, so do you remember how anti-weed he was? Guess where he works now?
Please tell me he's a weed lobbyist.
He is the head weed lobbyist for the legalization.
I really
of
could give a
weed.
shit. Is tax it 10% just like you do alcohol and put that money in something important.
My
I don't
only-
care. I could care less.
My only point to say was this guy was so vehemently against legalizing weed when he was in office because he was
He
paid.
gets paid more now.
But yeah, right. Someone just paid him more, and all of a sudden, all that moral high ground went
I
way,
was
way.
wrong. I was wrong. I saw the light.
Right. Oh, look at the science studies again, that they put in front of me again, that haven't changed ever.
But this is not the intent of the founding fathers at all. I can't see this being their intent.
Politics.
I mean, I'm sure
you were
they're
never
not
meant to be a politician. Period. You were meant to do a civil service for 8 years, like George Washington did, and said, "I'm done," and then go back to your life. You were not meant to be a career politician. Term limits, please God, term limits.
Yeah, but as soon as they went off the gold standard,
Oh yeah, that's awful.
and the Federal Reserve could just print money at will.
Yeah, it's awful.
I mean, at that point, there was.
Why is there inflation? Because money's based on nothing.
So in 2020, 2021, the U.S. government printed more money
They had ever had
than
in
has
their
ever
history.
existed in the history of human beings.
Ridiculous.
From the Mesopotamians until now, those 2 years, they printed more money than has ever existed.
Gee, why do my eggs cost $6 a dozen?
Actually, the thing I'm surprised the most about is that it didn't start sooner.
Nonsense. I hate it all. Firewall.
I'm actually surprised we're not. I'm surprised we're not at hyperinflation. To be honest with you, at this point,
It's amazing.
that's how
Well,
much
it's
money was
because
pumped in.
honestly, they keep bumping up in the interest rates and things like that, and it hasn't curbed people's spending enough. Like people are just
But they're gonna have to
are
go back
like
to the-
people are like fighting through it.
They're
and
going to have to go back to the
Federal
80s when
Reserve-
it was like 15%.
Right, and the Federal
interest.
Reserve keeps bumping up numbers, and people just keep fighting through the inflation. It's like at some point they got to stop.
Well, I think you're going to see it stop soon because right now inventory.
It's rough, right,
So-
dude?
so
I did my bill, like, just my personal bills. Like, I spent $300 more a month on groceries than I normally do.
Yeah, so
$300 for a family of four. That's crazy town.
But we're also like global economy, and often we're not looking at it from a global aspect. We look at it from kind of our aspect. But in many other countries, they're looking at high teens to
Yeah.
30% inflation.
Oh, yeah.
But-
And-
It's the globalists.
Well, the energy bills in Europe are insane.
Alex Jones.
But no, I'm like it's so we're having it hard, but there are places who are because
yeah.
of the value, like the dollar does really well internationally.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. There are places having it really really hard.
Well, I think by the spring of next year, though, you're going to start seeing a turn as far as even like. I don't think the stock market's going to rebound very much. It might rebound like December, January. The problem is that a lot of these retail companies the supply chain got fixed. They ordered a bunch of stuff thinking they weren't going to be able to get it for the holiday season, and they are stocked to the brim to the point where they're not ordering right now. So they're not. All these manufacturing companies, like the toys, the clothes, all this stuff. The retailers in this country stopped buying a lot of it because they got warehouses full of it right now. So when they stop they're going to stop manufacturing because no one's buying it. The retailers eventually are going to sell out and have to restock, but the manufacturers are going to lower prices down to get the retailers to buy again. And I think that's going to push prices back down. I think you're going to see some deflationary stuff, but I don't think you see it until probably spring. I think it's going to be a rough winter, especially like I got natural gas to heat this house. Natural gas is not going to go down for a little while. Diesel supplies are short right now. So, and right now, so I watch this one YouTube channel about truckers, and like he just goes through and like he's saying that the shipping companies are not having problems getting trucks to basically lower their prices for shipping because there's so few loads and so many trucks just sitting out there. So I think you're going to see some issues all around the board. I don't think the worst is hit yet, and I guess we'll find out.
I don't know, like gambling's going to become legal on our phones in a week, so that's the solution to all our problems.
There you go.
People looking for that quick
Put
buck.
all your money on black.
Right? Listen,
Well,
okay,
Put
the
it on the roulette wheel, bet it all on black.
The government is only interested in that which it can tax. So,
Well, yeah.
And the only reason that gambling was illegal before is because they couldn't figure out a way to get their cut.
yeah, and that's what was really going on. I mean, it may have been regulatory a little bit, but I mean, they saw a lot of money flowing online, and they weren't getting a piece of it.
Well,
The older I get, the more I become a libertarian.
That is correct.
I mean, I think the gambling and whatnot, I think you're seeing that now because certain interest groups that had a stranglehold on gambling aren't as strong as they used to be. Like the mafia ran gambling, and there was, I mean, shoot, they invented Las Vegas, for crying out loud, and Atlantic City. That was all built by the mob.
Well, yeah.
Which is why you could only gamble in Vegas and Jersey up until we were 25.
Until the Native Americans started getting their casinos. Yeah.
That was right around when I was 18. That's when the New York reservations started getting casinos.
Yeah.
And they were some of the first ones.
Yeah.
And then you had Connecticut, Mohegan Sun. Yeah.
Or Canada. We had to drive to Canada.
We did, yeah. When we turned 18,
driving to Canada.
6 hours to Montreal.
Oh, 3 hours, man. 3 hours to Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
Saw my first Mountie beat somebody up there. It was really funny. He was mouthing off to the Mountie, and the Mountie beat his butt.
So, you're not going to be... This is a 45-minute episode.
We just did 2.
No. But, I mean... Honestly,
and there were no aliens. We should have recorded the interview.
Okay, so look, we got about 15 minutes left. You want to talk aliens? Let's get into aliens. Because I am heated.
We were just talking about aliens. You missed the aliens conversation.
European when we missed the previous alien conversation.
We were talking about aliens a minute ago.
Do you know why I'm heated? You know why I'm heated.
I know why you're heated.
What do you got?
I didn't get a flyer this year for the alien conference.
Second
year
in a
you
row.
didn't get the alien conference? Wow.
Well, last year's COVID. I don't think he was out there. But
no, that's when it came out. Was last year.
That was last year. I'm sorry. Last year. You know the story.
All the experts.
The alien guy?
So our neighbor got a flyer. Like, he and I are standing there. One of our neighbors comes over. He's walking the neighborhood passing out flyers for this alien conference. And the neighbor gets one. I don't. Like,
but you were standing right next to him.
He knows you're not a believer.
I'm standing right next to him.
He can see it in your eyes. You're not a believer. Although, hair in the beard, I might think you're a believer.
I'm a believer.
I'm a believer now.
I could be. Like, I'm teetering. Like, I think
that aliens exist, or aliens have been here? Aliens 100% exist.
Or
mathematically speaking, aliens 100%
I definitely think they exist. I'm 100% on board with that.
Oh, this is the Fermi.
Like, how far into the atmosphere does here mean? Like,
here
on the ground?
On Earth? Why would they come here? Our main hobby is killing each other. Why would they come here? They don't care about us.
Observe, probe,
or they are us.
That is all. I do also like that theory.
So the idea, like
we are the aliens.
So that belongs.
So there's a
that
theory
in the weed conversation, because we could go down a rabbit hole. Which also might be legal in Maryland.
It's like that. Mars is so similar to the Earth because it's so similar to Earth until they messed it up and then they send us here.
Yeah, like I we were saying in the intermission, I think animals kind of have it figured out. They know how to operate amongst each other.
Natural equilibrium.
Yeah, and
humans do not,
and we do not.
We do not.
so it's almost alien species. It's an invasive species. It messes up an ecosystem. It disturbs
as
natural
Agent
order.
Smith from The Matrix said, we are a virus.
Here's the problem: if we are the aliens, then the whole idea that aliens are an advanced being is now just blown out the window.
Okay, no. So think about it. All right, so Rogan just had on. It was a guy named Hancock and another. I forget the other dude's name. An older dude. And there's a show on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse.
Gonna watch it now.
Yeah. Oh,
It's on my like you must watch thing.
Yeah.
I pulled up Netflix
so
today.
Essentially, every mainstream archaeology and everything says that human beings have been around since X time, but the problem is, we were hunter-gatherers for thousands of years prior to discovering surplus
crops,
agricultural
evolution,
and becoming
a revolution, whatever they call it.
An agricultural society, and then which would have started with Mesopotamia. Which, however, when you go back to some of these ancient sites and you do carbon dating, and they're discovering more, it goes back further than that. So how do you explain these monolithic sites that were clearly made by it's not natural. It's human beings made it, but they're older than 12,000 years old. So essentially, they said that there was an ancient civilization that existed throughout Earth, all over the planet during the ice ages when woolly mammoths. That was the same time that these creatures became extinct. that was destroyed when when a comet disintegrated, which the Leonid meteor shower is the remnants of that we pass through twice a year.
Is that like pre or post Pangea?
Post,
yeah.
Yeah, because Pangea was the dinosaurs. So you're talking 65 million years prior to now. So when you think about it, like the span that humanity has been on Earth and civilized is much like they said, well, how do you explain the hunter-gatherers? Well, we currently have hunter-gatherer tribes and cultures that are coexisting in this modern society. And that could have happened 15, 16,000 years ago.
Well, you think the idea of the shutdown from COVID, we all became hunter gatherers looking for food in grocery stores. Right?
I was getting ready to waste deers with my AR off Ty's back porch.
It's in our DNA already to be hunter gatherers. We just go to
Harris
Harris Teeter to do it.
Nice and quiet.
A lot more quiet than the
Nobody would even know it happened, baby. Whoever in the neighborhood posted that 8-point, I'm like, I'm gonna go stand in your yard in the morning.
As soon as I saw it, I thought of it. I was like, "Where's Ty?"
Take care of you.
Did you see the neighbor's picture of that buck?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go to that neighborhood, that yard, and just whack
shoot that
sucker.
fat.
I wasn't paying attention.
Fat 8-point,
That big
man.
fat boy hanging out
Like,
down there.
You know that's down there because they took out all the trees for the walking thing, the walking trail. Shame.
But here's the thing, like, there's no reason why it couldn't, and the only reason these guys aren't allowed to study it is because mainstream archaeology has decided that, and if they went and said, no, this is actually, we need to back this up, then all these people's work seems illegitimate. It's not correct.
You're upending everything they've ever worked for.
Yeah.
And like not just them, but like hundreds of years.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at
thousands, I guess.
The Sphinx, there's a part of the Sphinx, there's a stone that's much newer than the rest of it that was replaced. The Egyptians replaced it. So they're saying that the Sphinx existed prior to the Egyptians being there. And if you look at in the Bible, they talk about fire and brimstone. Well, where's the fire and brimstone? Well, you look back, a disintegrating comet could have been described as fire and brimstone coming from heaven. So great flooding, the polar ice caps melting, which came down much further south than they do now. Like up into Pennsylvania, the Chesapeake Bay was formed by glacial retreat. So, yeah, you have that type of ice melt. You're going to have 400 or 500 foot sea level rise.
This shit just got deep.
Yeah, real deep.
This got
Like
deep.
we went from bourbon to aliens, and they'll love it.
I think bourbon has that effect on
It
you.
really might.
No, it does.
It really
bourbon
might.
bourbon can take you in some interesting directions.
I love it.
So I'm telling you, I believe that, and the thing is, I'm Catholic. But I think that, and we mentioned before, like in the intermission when we were recording, that a lot of the Old Testament's parable, and when God granted us the whole when Eve ate the apple from the tree and was given knowledge, innocence was removed. That could have been the kind of onset of agriculture forming it, but the first one 20,000 years ago, not the one that we think happened in Mesopotamia.
Well, biblically, the response to the eating of the quote unquote apple was having to work the land.
Yeah.
Where at the point
You weren't just giving everything anymore.
You weren't just given everything, and it
which is a great
you.
Transition from simple hunter gatherer to working land as an agricultural society.
Yeah,
well,
you think even Adam had the opportunity to name and define every creature that walked amongst the earth.
Yeah.
So, if you're naming it, then you have dominion over those things.
Yeah. So it's like I like my mind's I'm like I got to watch that Netflix series. So
I need to turn up Krishan's mic.
See now I got something new to watch while I'm working out.
I'm trying my best.
You gotta
All
yell.
Now I got something new to work. All right.
All right. So this is probably going to end up as a supplemental episode to the last one. So people are going to get 2 episodes in 1 week, probably. Yeah. Thanks to Cheers and Spirits, Beer, Wine, and More, and the Arnold Station Plaza, 1460 Ritchie Highway in Arnold, Maryland. If you're in the Annapolis area, Severna Park area, or live in Arnold, swing by. Excellent selection of wines, beers, liquors. Thank you for the sponsors we get. Help us keep doing the show. Appreciate you coming, listening to us for another show. I guess I was going to say another week, but there's going to be 2 this week. So like, subscribe, comment, share, and we will talk to you next time.